70s. Staying alive, living in the 70s. Get down and fuck that jive. Living in the 70s. Jump up and boogie. Living in the 70s. Get down tonight, get down tonight. Ha, 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 ha. Living in the 70s. Ha, 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 ha. Living in the 70s.
Now we are joined by the irrepressible Bob I Believe in Mirrorballs Down this hour with original 70 hits from his brand new double CD.
Living in the 70s. Discoed up the night away. Living in the 70s. If you're not straight, you must be gay. Ha, 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 ha. Living in the 70s. Ha, 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 ha. Living in the 70s.
Living in the 70s. This hour, a special guest, the man, the dag of the 70s. It's Bob Downe.
Gordon, how are you, baby?
I haven't been called baby for a long time.
Ah.
I'm very well. I'm so glad you could join us
I'm pleased to be here. I can't think of any better place for me to be.
so you can blatantly plug your new double album. This is fabulous.
And, you know, I've always lived in the 70s. I just fast-forwarded from the 70s to now. I'm afraid in my household the 80s and 90s were cancelled due to lack of interest.
Who were your big influences in the 70s, say, on the music side?
On the music side, well, I thought I was going to say Bert Newton, Graham Kennedy and Philip Brady, Bruce Mansfield, but musically Jimmy Hannon, I think.
Jimmy Hannon. You can't go past, what was that, Beach Ball?
That's right. And Farnham when he was Johnny.
Yes.
Of course, J.O.K. And Marty Roan.
Marty Roan.
Marsha.
Marsha.
Always Marsha.
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 Now tell me, your fashions are influenced by your clothes fashions. Those statements are influenced by whom?
Oh, well, just by all those people that I've mentioned. Any kind of the Penthouse Club, actually. If you look at my clothes and you just think Penthouse Club, because that's what my TV show on Foxtel is. Have you seen it?
Yes.
The Bob Downe Show? 7:30 Sunday nights. There's another plug. And I always say, people say, what's it like? And I say, well, it's like the Penthouse Club, except we don't cross to the trots.
Afternoon delight. Living in the 70s.
Our special guest this hour is Bob Downe with a brand new album. This is a double album. And
It is.
In between people like Amy Stewart, the Starland vocal band, Bobby Goldsboro, is actually Bob Downe.
It's me. Look, you get it's original hits, original artists, and more. This album. It's called Bob Downe Huge Hits. I've done about 6 covers of classic songs. These are the songs that Fame, Xanadu, I Will Survive, Yeah. These are the songs that have always been my biggest requests in my live act. So I've whacked them on the album as well.
Now, you've done a version of Lady Marmalade's Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Yeah.
And do you think this will propel Vanessa Wagner to superstardom?
Quite frankly, I think she hardly needs any help. She's a Jag 70s denim supermodel and party hostess supreme. And people might know Vanessa from the Mardi Gras broadcast. When she had a beautiful outfit this year made of bathroom sponges of different colours. It's a little bit hairy on the tummy, too, I thought Vanessa was.
I thought she always was.
She's in pursuit of her suit, and we've done a fantastic cover together of Lady Marmalade. That's on the album.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Till the one, till the one, till the one, till the one, till the one.
Our special guest is Bob Downe this hour and Living in the 70s. Knock on Wood by Amy Stewart, one of your favourites.
Well, who could forget that video? Do you remember the video where all the images flared as she danced around? It was a new video technique. You know, she sort of she danced and turned and left a couple of images of herself, and she had the most fantastic headdress. The whole thing was gold lame to the max. She was a sexy little kitten.
With Bob Downe, of course, Band of Gold by Freda Payne.
A lot of people thought that Freda Payne was black, but she was white.
I thought she was black.
There's a film clip of her singing it on Soul Train in 1970, and she was white. And you know who else that happened to? Renee Gayer. When Renee Gayer released records in America, they thought she was black. Isn't it amazing? Some people got black voices.
Band of Gold, this poor woman left at the altar. You know, I think the reason behind that was, I think he was gay. He fled.
Oh.
It was a count thingo.
Apparently it used to happen a lot.
It's Band of Gold, and that's Freda Payne. We're playing all the originals on this double CD from Bob Downe's huge hits. Have I said that right? And there's a daggy version, one of six the boy does. Yeah, okay, there's more coming up too later on for you. And on the way, some great tracks, including originals, by the way. Billy Ocean and The Summer the First Time by Bobby Goldsboro. Next on Living in the 70s. Living in the 70s, or as we say sometimes, Bob Downe, rooted in the 70s.
Absolutely, because you've got to keep in touch with your roots, Gordon, or send them a postcard every now and again.
Of course, or at least, get rid of them at the hairdresser. Beach Baby.
Well, this is an interesting record from the mid-70s, but it was a throwback and a tribute to Phil Spector. It's kind of like a combination of Phil Spector and the Beach Boys, and it's the most beautifully... I think singles really reached their peak in the mid-70s. They were like mini movies for the mind, and this is one of them. Beach Baby.
Special guest, Living in the 70s. Tonight is Bob Downe. On your new double album, you have the original version of Summer the First Time by Bobby Goldsboro. Now, does this relate to you somewhere in a sand dune?
Oh, I think it could. I think it could. I just like any record, Gordon, that starts with the sound of the ocean and seagulls. They don't do that anymore, do they? And do-do-do-do-do-do. And my favourite line on that, I remember when I was a kid, was, she was 31 and I was 17. And I remember thinking, ooh, 31, yuck. Ooh, that daggy old flesh.
Living in the 70s.
Was a hot afternoon, the last day of June, and the sun was a demon.
Living in the 70s. Living in the 70s.
Our special guest is Bob Downe this hour and Living in the 70s with a new double album. We're playing tracks from this. When's it released now?
It's out in shops now. Bob Downe, huge hits, original stars, and more, being me.
Now, you've got on the album some of your own versions of Xanadu fame. What's your favourite?
I think my favourite would have to be my signature tune, Yeah, Yeah, which everybody remembers Matt Bianco doing, and then before that, the lovely Georgie Fame.
The lovely Georgie
Well,
Fame.
it used to belong to them. It belongs to me now. I'm sorry, guys. It's mine. You can't have it back.
Okay, a special track we're going to play for you this hour. We'll play Yeah, Yeah. It's nothing to do with the 70s, but it's Bob Downe who lives in the 70s, so that's my excuse.
Absolutely.
Bob Downe, thank you very much for coming in.
Gordon, it's my pleasure. It's great to see someone else who's in the same decade as I am.
There's Bob Downe, a.k.a. Mark Trevorrow, but I think he's more Bob Downe than Mark these days. Doing a national tour shortly. Just watch out. It could be in your area, doing all the daggy 70 things I believe in mirror balls. As you do. More of that coming up for you. Bit of disco, some hot chocolate, and favourites from Diana Ross, Little River Band, Cher, and a double from Elton John after we check the news on Living in the 70s.